Hey, what's going on? This is what I want to talk about and ultimately what's going to get you across the finish line as an agent. When I say across the finish line, I'm talking about actually getting someone into escrow. So overall, you look at an agent or a lender or someone that's in sales and you try to get them across the hump. You try to get that person that has called you, has texted you, has emailed you about providing service for them or selling them a product, and you got to get them across the threshold, across that barrier of how are we going to do this? How are we going to transact? How are we going to get this person across the finish line? So when you talk to that person, you initially either email, text, or actually set them up on a phone call. And when you have that initial conversation, it's more of a discovery conversation. Where are they at? Especially in real estate sales. So you're not going to get them to sell or buy a property overnight, but building that rapport just in the initial conversation is going to get you one. So the first recommendation and the first point of doing this is to get them to trust you. And then you want to build more rapport and more of a foundation between you and the client, or you and the potential client. So the second thing, so that's tip one. The tip two is how to get them to trust you even more. So obviously a listing presentation is going to be key for you to get the listing. But if someone calls you and says, hey, how much is my house? They may be 12 months out. They may be 18 months out. They may be 6 months out. So a lot of people ruin this by going, hey, I'm going to actually sell this person's house tomorrow and I'm going to get a commission check of $20,000 within the next month. That's not true. It takes a lot of repetitive conversations in business, actually back and forth, to build up that pipeline to where you're closing 100 deals, 150 deals a year. So you need to be consistent. You need to have that conversation, and you need to have that workflow that's going to get you into that. So tip two is to, outside of the conversation on the phone at first as the discovery, you need to follow up with some type of buyer's consultation and or listing presentation. And sometimes you don't even need that. You just need a secondary conversation to be had. Okay, so buying a home is different than selling a car, is different than selling some type of bike or a piece of furniture on Let Go. You need to go through those steps. So number two would be to get them either on a Zoom call or better yet in person. However, sometimes people are positioned farther away from you. They're not 10 minutes away from you, so that might be harder to do. But you need to make sure that you get them on another appointment. So one, set an appointment on the phone. Two, once you get them on the phone, set them up onto another appointment, Zoom or in person, okay? And then the tip three to convert those people is the follow-up. That is the number three key piece that a lot of people miss. So if you look at it, if you see my calendar versus somebody else, filling up the days and adding those days to appointments are gonna ultimately convert those people down the road, but it's not going to convert them overnight. And it also needs to be added to the follow-up campaign that you do for that person that you're going to actually go sell. So tip one, get them on the phone and actually have a conversation, discovery, see where they're at. They may be 12 months, they may need another lease for a year and have that 12 months and then go buy, or they may be pushed and rolled over into, hey, we're only in this for about 2 or 3 months and then we're actually ready to purchase. So then you move them from point A, which is that initial conversation on the phone, to another scheduled appointment, which is going to be on Zoom and or in person, okay? Doesn't matter if it's a listing appointment or a buyer's consultation. And then the last one after that is the follow-up. The follow-up is going to be where the money is made. You could have a phone conversation with them twice, and then another Zoom conversation with them, or in-person conversation with them twice, and then they forget about you. They have a lot of other things. They're a lot busier than what you think they are, and they're going to forget about you. You had one conversation, it probably went well, but they're not going to remember you. You need to follow up by email, text, and phone calls, okay? Phone calls the best, text secondary, emails the worst, but you can add that in depending on how you're structuring those emails, okay? So if the email is, hey, I saw this property, this would be a good property for you guys to look at. So when it does come time to buy, this is where the area and also details of the property come into play. So overall, that's going to get you convert more leads and get those leads into the funnel from top funnel all the way to bottom funnel. And you got to worry about, when you're doing that, where is that area of expertise that you're going to be the best and most beneficial. So think about that all in when you're talking to the lead and how you're going to convert that lead. So if that lead's going to be 12 months out, how can I add value now to ultimately talk to them later down the road? I just had a conversation with a lead that came across, and they were 3 months ago, came into the funnel. They're still very top of the funnel. We're working them down because they just found out that they're having a baby, which is great news. But if you fast forward, that still puts them out quite a bit because they're still saving some money, and they're talking about potentially renting for another year. On the other hand, there might be somebody else that just had a baby or is about to have a baby and kicks it into high gear and puts them into a different bracket on purchase time. And it might be also because they have some more money saved up. So really think about those tips: top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel, and how you follow up. Two is going to be another conversation I'll have with you guys, going over the best practices to go over what it is to get that person in the funnel and then also follow up them to the point that you close on them. If you guys really like this video, please hit subscribe.